My mum said to me a while ago, she said, the family have been talking about how you've become an extremist. And I'm like, in religion? And I said, okay. She said, and they've been asking me why you became an extremist. And I said, what did you say, Mum? She said, I told them you were always a weird kid. And I said, what do you mean by weird kid? She said, well, you were always praying. You were always saying, I'm going to speak to God about you. I'm going to ask God. God knows best. And nobody taught me this. We didn't go to church. My dad was a lapsed Catholic. My mum was superstitious more than religious. But there was me. Please God, I just was a believer. But then my nafs and my desires to put the veils between me and faith. So there was a gradual, really, I owe a debt of thanks to the Palestinian people, because I went there in 2005, 2007, 2009 after Gaza had been flattened again, but really in a majorly horrific way rather than just everyday horror. And I remember in a refugee camp in Zaytuna, which is part of a UN inquiry into what happened there, the whole town had been flattened, and I wasn't Muslim, wasn't in hijab, I was just a journalist knocking about, and I said to a woman, can I come and speak to you? And she said, yes, come and sit down. And she did this thing, she was sitting on the rubble of her house, and she said, 1 minute, and she shouted at some children, and they got me a chair. They got me a chair, and they put me a chair on the rubble of her house, because even in decimation, she had a protocol about how to treat a guest. And then this mother said, do you want to see my sons? And I said, yes. And I looked at the snotty kids with no shoes running around. And instead, she went into a plastic bag and she got out a photo of 3 dead babies. Right? They've been shot. 3 dead Palestinians. She said, this is Ibrahim, this is Yusuf, and he likes to do this. And then she said, Alhamdulillah, all praise and thanks to God. And I was like, how? What does that mean? She said, because I know they're with God. I know their test is over, and I know they're going to ask for me, and I know my rights with God. And I thought, wow, if I break a heel on my shoe, I'm ungrateful. So I started to realize that there was this whole other concept of what peace of mind means, and what reality is, and who Allah is. And so it took another 3 years, but I kept making my way into mosques and trying to pray. And then in 2010 in Ramadan, I slept the night in a mosque because I had such a feeling of peace that if you felt it, I wouldn't have gone home to my family. I went into a mosque just as a tourist to do some secret filming because I thought, this will be a good article for the Daily Mail. And I sat down and a waterfall of peace came over me. And so I said to my Muslim friends who I was with, can I sleep on the floor? They said, sure. And in the morning I prayed Fajr. And a week later I took my Shahada by the grace of Allah.